And we are live. Hey, everybody. It's 9 o'clock, but it's Tuesday, it's Monday. I'm normally not on Hits and Heels on Monday. Hits and Heels usually comes on Wednesday nights. But I have one of my absolute sheroes that I ran into when I was at the 50th women's basketball anniversary at UK. Valarie Still is a legend, and so if y'all know, I live in Lexington, Kentucky. My husband played at the University of Kentucky. My son presently plays at the University of Kentucky. But nobody can talk about Kentucky basketball without talking about Valarie Still, who still holds the all-time scoring and rebounding record, men or women, at the University of Kentucky. And everybody knows all of the powerhouse players that have come out of the University of Kentucky, but she didn't surpass all of them. Everybody that you could think of, she didn't pass all of them with her scoring and her rebounding record. And Valerie, I am so excited that you said yes. I know you didn't know me from Adam at the game when I asked you to be a part of my podcast, but here we are. Welcome to Hits and Heels. So I created Hits and Heels because my husband made me a football coach. I'm one of the only female football coaches in the state of Kentucky. I also coach a women's tackle football team that I am absolutely excited about, the Derby City Dynamite. I'm their first female coach, football coach. And so I just created Hits and Heels to, just to give a voice to women like me that are kind of trailblazing some areas, but also to be able to highlight legends like you and be able to hear your story. And so I'm excited that you were here. And so I don't even know where to start. So you go ahead, remind the people who you are.
Well, first, I have to say it was a pleasure to meet you at, for the 50th anniversary. That was special for all of us that came back. And I think it was a record number of alumni, Lady Cats, that came back for that event and just showed the support that there is for women's basketball in Lexington. And I'm hoping that we can turn this thing around and get it going again. But when I saw you, I'm a vibes person. So I work on energy. I'm all about that, with kids now and telling them that they're superstars is energy. And so I'm hoping something positive comes out of this besides just the sports, because life is not just about sports. I mean, sports is an outlet for all of us, we have to play, but there's also things that, I'm hoping that comes out during the time we have together, and, people are inspired and empowered by it as well.
Oh, absolutely. You have a whole lot of projects that I can't wait to come forward. And I want to jump right into it. Tell me about, of course, there's husband with the dog. Go ahead and tell me about this one project that you got coming out, I think this year. And it's regarding where I think you're talking about just women in sports, or the legacy in the 50 years with the women. Tell me about that. What is that about?
Well, I've got a few things that I'm doing with the history, because history is so important. Most people don't, especially sports people. I didn't until I did my doctorate in sports humanities, so I figured it out. But most people don't know the history. And now, with this whole issue of Caitlin Clark breaking records, and whether she broke the record, whether she didn't, because we don't know the history, because we don't know there was an AIAW before the NCAA, and those records were still around. They just didn't, the NCAA didn't keep them. Then, everybody's, all upset about it because the true history isn't out. And so I deal with a lot of, there's a documentary coming out, a docuseries, If Not For Them. It's about all these. I'm a consultant, and I'm also in it. But it goes through the whole history of basketball, because most people don't understand that when basketball was invented, and it's the only sport, or the first sport that was invented in the United States for men and women at the same time. And so when men started playing basketball, women started playing it as well. And in Lexington, Kentucky, when basketball came to Kentucky, the women were better than the men at the turn of the century. And most people don't know that.
Don't know that.
So good. And then in the 1920s, of course, they banned sports in college for women. And so then you have this 50 years that nothing happened from 1920s until 1974 after Title IX. And then in 74, of course, colleges across the United States brought back varsity sports. So I'm a real stickler about history, and part of it comes from my ancestors as well, who documented history. And so at UK, I've started with the Nunn Center, a special collection oral history of women's basketball. We've already got like
And there were no
nothing.
videos of any women from the
No.
basketball era until you brought it to fruition.
And that, but it has to happen. But it was happening. Like women were playing back in the 1903, 1904, 1907, 1920. Kentucky had the champions of the South. They were a championship team with Sarah Blanding, who had a tower that I didn't even know who she was. It's not there anymore on the University of Kentucky. But those are things that, especially since women's sports, especially basketball, is doing so well now. There's so much interest in it, and I think we have to get the history right.
I think women's basketball right now is more exciting than men's basketball, especially on the college level. I don't care what the brackets and stuff. Yeah, everybody was looking at where the girls were playing, and because it's even this how it was last year. It was more exciting than the men's game, than the men's tournament last year. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So tell me about your history of your family. So you have a rich history. Tell me more.
So, mainly, most people know William Still. I just was invited to the U.S. Postal Service just um, unveiled the Underground Railroad collection, forever stamped. They're out now for sale. But we were down in Maryland at the Harriet Tubman National Park, and I represented William Still was one of the 10 abolitionists that they featured. And William Still, when he died, they said he was the father of the Underground Railroad in his obituary.
Wow.
Technically, he wasn't, because the Underground Railroad started way before William Still.
Okay.
Matter of fact, William Still, my great 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 grandmother, actually escaped as well. So she was using it before William came in. He started documenting everything in about 1847. And so he documented it, worked with Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, John Brown, all the big abolitionists. Just a powerhouse, William Still. All his children graduated from college in the 1800s. My great great grandfather, his older brother, was a medical doctor in the 1800s. And so I have this like rich history. Most people know me about basketball,
But they don't know
and
about the history of your family.
no. And one
I
of the
mean,
strange things,
greatness came from you from generations.
oh, I can only, I'm only about legacy. And now I didn't know when I was at UK why I had this passion. Like I always wanted to like leave a legacy. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew I had to. And then I found out William Still, my great great granduncle, his older brothers were sold in slavery after my great great grandmother escaped from the eastern shores of Maryland. They sold her two older sons, and they ended up in Lexington, Kentucky. Yeah, right across from where Henry Clay lived. And so this whole
Are you,
it's strange
are
how, yeah.
you serious?
And then
You didn't know that when you and
no,
your brother, or even when your brother played here?
didn't know it. And he even, like, everybody always asked us, how did you get to Kentucky from Camden, New Jersey? Now I got my Camden High representing today. But we were the first. Him and Derek Ramsey, they were the first like big athletes to really go to Kentucky. Then you got Milt Wagner, of course. There was Billy Thompson, who went to Louisville. But there's been this connection since my brother started in 70. He was at UK 74, 78.
Okay.
And so there's this whole tradition, but I always bring it back that, the ancestors, like we came back and we atoned for what they had to go through, and their lives were a living hell. I mean, they
Oh,
were
I can't
enslaved,
imagine.
then they were sold or they were willed to somebody else in Alabama. They eventually one of them doesn't survive. The other one comes through the Underground Railroad, meets William Still, not knowing he's his brother in 1850, and they reunite, and it's just this, and we just carry on that legacy.
That is just so amazing. So, so when you came here without knowing that, so your brother had already came here. Did your brother help recruit you to Kentucky?
Of
How
course,
did you get to Kentucky?
of course, that's the only reason I came to
That's the
Kentucky.
only reason why you came. But he was already gone, right?
He would, well, see, we had visited though. You have to
Oh yeah,
remember,
because you were coming to games and you were coming to visit.
yeah,
Okay.
well, not a lot, because we come from Camden, New Jersey. Camden has always been one of the poorest and one
Mm,
of the most crime-filled cities in the country. Always in the
okay.
top five. Across the bridge from Philadelphia, and so we didn't have a lot of money. I'm gonna date myself. I was, as a kid, I'm growing up as a little girl pre-Title IX. So there's no
Yeah.
opportunities, there's no scholarships, there's no, professional leagues, there's no careers. And so my mom was like definitely against me playing sports. Because there wasn't, I mean,
Wow.
I'd be doing playing sports. But by the time I graduated from high school, they had just begun giving out athletic scholarships. And he was there from 74 to 78. And so he loved Kentucky. The people were just like, when we went to visit, it was amazing. It was like, I don't know, it was like it was destined for us to go. And look at what he was at UK during the height of football. I mean, that those really were the golden ages when
Yes.
they, like in the 70s there, when they were winning SEC championships, and they were on probation 1 year or two. But it was almost like destined that we were going to come to Kentucky, and Kentucky's like my old Kentucky home. It's, to me, it's home now.
Yes. And I could see it being home because I mean you
Yeah.
look like you were at home when you were there because again everybody was just so glad to see you. I was glad to see you, and it was hard not to just just dote all over you. And I hope that never gets old for you because people like us that are just so um in awe of just not just your accomplishment but your accomplishments after basketball are absolutely phenomenal that people just don't know about. You have a foundation. Go ahead and tell us about just what the basketball, what how did basketball set you up for life? Because the stuff that you've done since basketball, since you left Kentucky, is definitely needs to be noted.
Yeah, I think we all go through these existential crises. I think I went through, like, I blew my knee out, so I couldn't play anymore. I wasn't an athlete anymore. My parents died, so I wasn't a daughter anymore. It all happened
Mm,
around the same time. My son ends up, going away to college, so I'm no longer a mom. All these, like, and I was an athlete for so long. That's what everybody knew me for, and that's what we base as an athlete. You base your worth on,
and
your fit.
and just your whole identity.
Yeah, and so I found I went through this crisis where it's like, who am I? I mean, just, and then
Mm,
I went through a really bad divorce, so I wasn't a wife anymore. All these titles that I had,
mm,
you
mm-hmm.
know, they were just stripped, and I had to really come and find out who I was, and that's really what carried me on. I got to a point where it wasn't about success anymore. It was like success is all about me, the titles, the records, all those things, the big house. I had all, I went from nothing to everything: big house, nice car, money in the bank,
Mm-hmm.
recognition, fame. I went to Italy, was living large. And then it came to a point where that everything was almost like just taken away. And then I realized that it's not about success, it's about significance. So
Ooh, that's
what
good.
what am I going to leave, like William Still, 200 years, 300 years, William Still's on a stamp. Like this guy whose mother died as a fugitive, like an
Mm-hmm.
illegal, she escaped. So it's, what is my legacy going to be? And right now it's giving back. It's giving back to. I was in Camden, New Jersey today with third and fourth graders, telling them that they're superstars. Literally, just pure positive, powerful, unlimited energy. And I know I can relate to them because I was in the same situation as they were. And so it really comes from a place of like the heart. And I think
Mhm.
people nowadays are really looking for that. I mean, I think that's why sports are so popular as well because it's an escapism. Like
I
there's
know
so
it
much,
was for me. I know it was for me. Yes, it
so
definitely
much
was for me.
craziness going on. Yeah.
It was for me. So, tell me. Oh, so how did you establish the foundation? Tell me about the foundation. And you also have a
Yeah.
book. Don't let me forget about
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
You hear me? Don't you let me forget about nothing.
Okay. Uh, so the foundation I started when I was playing. Yeah, I played overseas for a long time because there weren't any professional
No
leagues.
opportunities over here.
No opportunities at all. And so I didn't, most people don't realize that when I left school in 83, I still was missing like 15 credits, 15, 20 credits because I couldn't take all my production. I was in agriculture, animal science. I
Mm.
couldn't take any of my afternoon production classes, whether it was beef, cattle, or dairy cattle, or poultry production, or horse, and because we had practice. And so when
Oh.
I left, my mother, she was so upset with me, and most of the people that knew me was like, "You'll never get your degree." But
Oh
I had
wow.
to follow my dream, and that was overseas. So Italy was a one of those places, and then of course Japan. People were playing there as well, and so
Hmm.
I ended up going over. But then I came back, and then the ABL started and the WNBA. But I just wanted to give back, and so I started a lot of athletes were starting foundations, and so I think it was my second year I played with the ABL. I started the Valarie Still Foundation
Okay.
to help develop, healthy, helping little girls turn into healthy, strong, confident women. And so I did that for a while, but now I'm with the Clarence B. Jones Institute for Social Advocacy. And I don't know if you know Clarence B. Jones. He did an ad in the Super Bowl this year. He was Martin Luther King's speechwriter. He's 93. He went to school with
Wow.
my mother. It's so crazy. Like I have all these connections
Oh
that
my
just
goodness,
happened.
everything just comes
Yeah,
full circle with all these connections. Wow.
so he's, I ended up reaching out to him because I wanted to start a scholarship for my mom and found out that he was Martin Luther King's speechwriter. He wrote the I Have a Dream speech. He was his attorney. He's 93.
Mm.
He's still alive. And so we started the Clarence B. Jones Institute for Social Advocacy in 2017. And now he was on an ad that ran during the Super Bowl about stop hate, don't be
Hmm.
silent. We got to speak up. And so I do that as well. I'm just, if there's something to get into, I want to do it.
The Kentucky job's open.
Okay. Oh no, not that though. I did at one point. I did at one point, but that, you know what? Sometimes things happen. Like I really, when the probably when it back when Bernadette was leaving, and that's been a while,
That's been a
2013.
while. Yes.
I thought that's where I was supposed to be, and so
Okay.
I reached out, but it didn't happen. And I reached out a few times after that, and it didn't happen. But that just told me that that's not where I'm
That's
supposed to.
not
That
what you were meant to do.
and so now it feels so good getting back. Like when I came back, and it's you can we're trying to form this Lady Cats alliance right now, where we really support the program because we are hoping that we can get this thing back on track.
And I
There's
think it will. I think it will.
oh, sure. I think about Kyra Elsie. She was really put in a tough spot. If you
I
think
feel
about it,
yes.
on 2019, I think it was when she got, she just was forced in that position, first of all. And then the pandemic happens.
Yes.
And, nobody recognizes she didn't have a chance to bring in her players, recruit, get the staff that she needed. Things were so, and so, I don't know what's going to happen, but I wish the best for her. But I think at the same time, 4 years, with everything that went on during that period, I don't know, and I want the program to turn around, of course, but I don't think she was put in the best position when she took over.
I
I don't
definitely,
know.
I think it was unexpected. Because of the illness for the previous coach. But when I watch the games, and of course, watching it on TV is totally different from watching it live. So
Yeah.
so the game that I went to, that I saw you, was my first game this season that I saw live, because I used to have season tickets. And then I gave up my season tickets because my son was doing baseball, and so we never had the opportunity to, I never really had the opportunity to go. And so now that he's at UK, and now that my season is now, so my football season is now, and then my husband's playing baseball, so it was like, okay, I got to go to this game. I'm going to this game because of all the alumni that were going to be there. I knew it was just going to be a great game. But when I saw some of the players, I was a little disappointed, because I was like,
Yeah. And you have to remember, she was an assistant coach, and so it's a big difference between
assistant coach and being the head coach,
and just thrown in at the last. I think they told her it was September, I think, when they took her on as a head coach, or whatever. And I just thought she was put in a really tough spot there, and it's not easy. All the people that think is, and I look at Dawn Staley, like, that's my girl. I played against her. But Dawn, she got to, cut her teeth at Temple University. She got to, and she brought on a person that she trusts, Lisa Boyer, who was her coach with the ABL. They had a relationship. They were close. She knew the X's and O's. She knew, she was a little more experienced in that sense. And so together they formed this incredible coaching staff. And then you fill it out with people that are loyal to you and buy into your mission.
But it didn't happen overnight for her either.
No. But I mean,
but she's killing it right now, though. I'm not even gonna lie. She's done the daggone thing over there. But I also feel like she had the opportunity. Like, if you go and you hear stories like Coach Krzyzewski, Coach K, and you talk about their first 4 years, like where Coach Elsie at, they were horrible.
Yeah.
They were horrible. They did not have great years. They gave them an opportunity to build a program before they decided that they didn't think that they were good. But for me, on the outside, because I coached basketball for years. Matthew Mitchell, I think, spoke at one of my at one of my sports banquets, and it would be hard for me to play for someone like Pat Summitt and have that coaching mentality and then coach these young ladies today.
It's different. It's different.
Because I'm telling you right now that I would be in jail, because I'll be ready to hit them dead in their mouth and hit them right in the throat, because I'm like, because even after I saw you, I went to the South Carolina. I think I saw you at South Carolina, but you left early. Yeah. I went to the South Carolina game, and I'm not gonna mention no names, but there's a young lady that was at South Carolina, transferred to Kentucky. There's no way South Carolina is gonna come 40-piece me at home, or I'm gonna go get 60-piece to them, and I'm not getting ready to score 40. I'm not getting ready to score 30. You're gonna feel my presence on the floor, and that was the part where I was like, these kids is different these days. Because
see, what people don't remember there, though, is South Carolina never forgot Dawn Staley. I know she never forgot the SEC championship in 2023.
Absolutely.
So don't even
Yes.
try it. It's like,
I already know. I already know. She was not getting ready to let Kentucky
no.
come
And
in
what they
again
did to
and take a
Kentucky,
championship from them again. I
yeah,
agree. I
yeah.
agree.
So
But I'm just saying, as an individual player, it's a pride. It becomes a pride thing because I'm like, how do you play at South Carolina? You're not there. If you was at South Carolina right now, she would be at the end of the bench. You wouldn't even be, she wouldn't be getting in the game based off of
but
the rest of the
like,
talent. But I don't understand how you not come in and step in and you have your best game against your former team.
but there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot to go along with it because you need a good supporting staff. One of the reasons why I was so successful at Kentucky, and I appreciate it more and more every year, and I say it every time I get a chance. My teammates were extremely supportive. They were willing to play the second fiddle, even though any one of them could have been scoring.
Could have been there.
Lisa Collins was like, well, we didn't have 3 points back then, but she was a sharpshooter. Lee Wise was like one of the greatest shooters around. Patty Joe Hedges, just the
Yeah, you had
ultimate.
some heavy hitters playing with you.
You know,
Absolutely.
they were willing to dish me the ball, and they were willing to fill in. Liz Luxu, people, Tanya Fogel, who's now the councilwoman. They were all like, it was so unselfish, and nobody. And now it's so different because everybody's like, social media has everybody wants to be, you're an influencer. You got it's a whole different ball game now.
It's
You know,
different now. It's just different now. I just know as a player, and I had and it was personal for me. I, when I got the ball, we balling. When I got the ball, we balling. And so when I saw that, that's what I'm saying. When I saw that didn't happen,
yeah.
when she
There's
had
a
the
lot. I'm telling
opportunity
you,
to have the
South
ball, I was
Carolina.
like,
You
I was like, okay.
But South Carolina, I mean,
I see, I said, oh my God, Kyra, if I was Kyra, I would be going
you take your
absolutely
earrings out, you ready to
crazy.
go in. Yeah. You're like,
Yeah. But as a coach, it would have been very frustrating. As a coach, I was
yeah.
frustrated from the sideline looking at the demographics of the players, the walking up the court, the lack of effort, the lack of it was just a lot of stuff. And I know that that's not who Kyra Elsie is as a coach because I've seen it. We've seen Kentucky girls go to the Elite Eights back to back. And so they played that fast pace and their defense was relentless. And I know she still carries, that same stuff. And so when I didn't see that, it was like,
But it's different too because now, with the portal, you can have a whole different team every year. And if
every
they're not
year
satisfied, they're gonna hop in, and
they're going to hop in.
I don't have any judgment about it because if the portal was around, I wanted to leave Kentucky my sophomore year. How crazy would that have been? I mean, really, because
Right.
we had a coaching change, and
Mm-hmm.
most people didn't know. My mom was like, "No, you're staying," But I was looking at Missouri. I was looking at, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
how was that? But you have to realize these are kids. Like they're
Yes, and it is so different now. And
everything.
it's a microwave society, and they want success
Yeah.
right now. They want to play right now. I mean, we had
Mhm.
couple of conversations even with our son. He's a true freshman. We're like, dude,
Yeah.
relax. You're just a freshman, and
That's
you're a
when the
true
parents,
freshman.
yeah.
Just relax. But then he gets into the game and he leads the team in tackles in three games, and he's like, I should have been playing. And I'm like, okay, my bad, my
Okay.
bad, my bad. Oh my God, that's so good. But so tell me about why did you want to leave Kentucky your sophomore year?
Because, and it's almost like what happened now that I think about it. So Debbie Yao was our coach. Debbie Yao is Kay Yao's
Okay,
younger
yeah,
sister.
yes,
Debbie Yao is the most powerful woman in college sports. She was the first female athletic director
athletic
for
director.
Power Five. She was at Oral Roberts, but she was then at and I think St. Louis University. But then she was at Maryland. She won champions, built that program up. And last place she was at was North Carolina State. They just won it
Mm-hmm.
with a coach that she had hired. So
Mm-hmm.
she was like, but she was young then. She was the first female coach for women's basketball, a full-time coach hired in the country. And
Oh,
yeah,
at Kentucky?
and so, she must have been about 26, 27 when they hired her. You know, it was in the
Mm-hmm.
76, I think.
Right, right.
Yeah, 76.
Oh, and she was young coach.
Yeah, because they had just reinstated varsity sports for women in college,
Mm-hmm.
but she had that kind of, and we loved Debbie Yao. She was our, she recruited us. Like we had probably the best recruiter in recruiting year. We had Sharon Garland, Lee Wise, Patty Jo Hedges, Lori Edgington. They were all like Kentucky All Stars, and then
Mm-hmm.
I was the one out of state that came in,
From out of state. Mm-hmm.
and she was just a fantastic coach. We loved her. She let us play. We were like run and gun. We had to, she changed everything. We, let them go. We were like wild horses. And so, and we turned the program around. Like, and she led. We were breaking records, as far as people coming to the games. And then she got married. She met the assistant coach for Kentucky. They ended up getting together. He ended up leaving, and she went with him. So after my
Mm.
freshman year, she leaves, and they brought in Terry Hall, who was the head coach for Louisville. And
Oh,
Louisville was like an arch rival for us. Like
right. Like, okay, what were they thinking at that time? Okay.
so that's why I'm saying, even with what's going on with Kara, it takes a while. Players, just like when you go through a divorce or you go,
I've been
you
through a
gotta
divorce.
kind
It
of.
took me 12 years to get remarried. I ain't even gonna lie.
It's not
Yes,
easy.
it's not easy.
You can't force it. It's like a relationship you have to build. And so I think we would have been even more successful if we would have just bought into it. Terry Hall was a good coach. She knew what she
Hmm.
was talking about. But we loved Coach Al. We still do. She
Right.
came back. And so it took us some time. But by the time we had like gelled, we won a championship, the 82 SEC
The
championship.
82 championship.
Yeah. But by that time we were getting ready to leave out, and so when things happen like that, it just changes the dynamic of a team.
It does.
And I think that's what happened with UK as well. They gave. I just don't understand. I'm a kind of like a woman power thing,
I am
sisterhood,
too.
solidarity.
Yes, me too.
So they gave, there's been one male coach at University of Kentucky, and Mickey DeMoss came in and changed the program. It had gone down. Mickey DeMoss came in and really got that program going. And the only coach that has been there over, I think, 6 years, been there, was there for like 14, almost near, I forget how long, was the male coach. Like given that kind of grace period of just with everything that was going on, it was like it's going to stay that way. So I don't know. I got mixed feelings. I want the team to do well, but I also feel like for Kara, and African American women of color getting an opportunity, because that hasn't happened for quite some time.
But African American coaches at any level,
Women of
their
color.
leash is this long.
Well,
Their leash is this long. You don't get the opportunities to help to build your program, to get Kenny Payne. Kenny's gone. They're not going, whereas somebody else they would have gave him 5 or 6 years and at least gave him an opportunity to get all his own recruiting team. They didn't even do that.
yeah.
Right.
How long was he there?
2 years.
Oh, really? 2 years? Okay. I don't own a TV, so I don't even.
They're not winning.
Yeah.
They were struggling. And again, I think the whole dynamic of college sports has changed because of NIL and because of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Because when when a coach leaves, then the kids have an opportunity at that time. You have a 30-day window where you can go into the portal. So even if you've already transferred, because of the transfer, because of that rule, now athletes have the opportunity. So that's why you see a lot of athletes that have been to 3 or 4 teams.
No, college sports has changed so much. It's like,
so they give you a year. They give you a free one. Yes, they give you a free one. But then if the coach leaves, they give you 30 days.
But the other thing is this that I don't understand. It seems like players are playing like 5 and 6 years. Like, has it always been that way? Like, I think since the pandemic.
So they got a COVID year. Many of them got the COVID year because COVID gave everybody an extra year that you normally have. So then if you had an injury and you did a red shirt, or if you had an injury and now you have a medical red shirt, so then you have the COVID year, then you have your regular years. So that's how people are getting the 6 and 7 years.
Yeah,
that they're able to, that they're able to continue to play.
Now you got the graduate students that are playing, and it's like, whoa. I mean, I got 4 years, and then I was kicked out, man. It was.
But you'd have loved to have been able to stay an extra year and did a grad year, right? Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So so we had a couple of players even on Kentucky's team that came back, and I don't blame them. I mean, come do another. Okay, maybe you didn't do what you needed to do to get to develop to go to the league. If they're gonna let you come back, why not? Why? Adulting is overrated.
Yeah.
Adulting is overrated. And football, and then football is totally different than all the other sports. When you give up your cleats and when you take off the pads, that's it. At least with basketball, we can still, even at our age, we can still go and play some pickup basketball whenever we want to. You can't do that with football.
You don't want to either, man. Yeah,
you don't want to either.
My brother, man, those guys get beat up. I mean, football is just and that's even changing though with all the new rules and all that kind of stuff. So,
one of my favorite people, Jennifer Jones, she said, "Great to see you." Such a legend on the podcast. Hey, Jen. So Jen is the co-founder of the Lexington African American Sports Hall of Fame, and they just announced their we just announced, because I'm part of that as well, our 2024 class. And you should come to that. It is going to be fun. Oh my God, it's been fun every year. We've had some great legends that have come, and I think we've had. I think our first year we inducted Tanya our first year, and then last year we had and last year we had BB Crawley, and we had Leslie Nichols last year got inducted, and some of the guys that we've inducted them as well. So it's pretty fun. It's a great time to come back on September the 21st. I hope you come back.
Do you have to be from Lexington to be inducted into that? Look at you.
Yes. You've had to have been. You've had to have been a resident for a significant amount of time to be inducted into the Lexington African American Sports. But they prefer those people that were born and bred here are like the first priority. Because you would probably qualify because you lived here, right?
I was there.
You're in every other Hall of Fame except that.
I'm always there. Every time I get a chance, I'm back in Lexington.
Okay. Well, I'll look at the bylaws, and we'll, a couple years down the line, we'll see what it looks like.
You kick me out of Lexington now. What really a nice thing that's going on in Lexington? I was invited to. The mayor invited me to. They just unveiled. There's going to be a monument for the Underground Railroad in Lexington. They're building it. It'll be done by 2025 for the 250th anniversary. So that was kind of neat because I'm writing books and all now on the Underground Railroad with William Still, and it was kind of interesting because one of the featured abolitionists that's on the postal stamps is Hayton, Lewis Hayton, and Lewis Hayton was an abolitionist from
Hmm.
Lexington. He was enslaved in Lexington, and the monument's going to be dedicated to him. So
Okay.
it's like,
Where's it going to
yeah,
be located?
it. Oh, that's a good question. I was there right on the spot. There's a school. I, I'm not. I can't.
It's okay.
I
It's
can't.
okay.
Even, I should know that. But I was there when they did that. That happened when I was in town for the 50th anniversary women's basketball. So
So you brought up your brother. How's your brother doing?
he's doing well. He's out. He ended up in Kansas City. He played there for, I want to say, 13 years, and he played maybe 4 with the Buffalo Bills. But he ended up staying in Kansas City. So he's out there with kids and grandkids, and he might. No, he didn't have any grapes yet, but he's got a ton of them.
Mr. Brown is one of my favorite supporters. He said he just logged in. He said, "Did you play in Beat Art 101?"
Oh, I used to beat him all the time at football, basketball, baseball.
Everything.
I taught him everything he knows. Most people don't know Art. When he was in high school, they won a state championship in both football and basketball, I
Oh,
think.
wow.
Yeah, so they were him and Derek Ramsey was they came out together. But I followed wherever they were.
You
I
were
was
there.
going. I was there, and initially they wouldn't let me play, and then I got so good, and I don't know if this happens all over, but what they would do, they would pack when they got old enough to drive. They would drive around to different little cities, picking game, trying to find pickup games. And I finally got good enough that they would let me come, and it would be like a little ploy because everybody be like,
Yes. Like
"Little
a like
sister
a
going with me."
like the like the white man can't jump where it was like a yeah, well we'll just take the girl. We
Yeah,
can
yeah,
beat y'all with a
yeah.
girl.
And then they would be betting money, because they the girls, and then we can go in there and kick some butt, man, and then come out, happy drinking
That's good
sodas,
stuff.
But I always hung out with my brothers. I had 5 older brothers, and I just always hung out with them, always. So that's how I got good at sports.
That's good stuff. Okay, so Jen said the monument will be in front of the Lexington Traditional Middle School and Limestone and 4th Street. Thanks, Jen, for that
There you
information.
go.
And
Thank
Mr.
you.
Brown said Derek Ramsey said Coach Fran said that they could try out for basketball.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because when they came to the UK, they wanted to. I don't think they ever did try out, but they wanted to play both. Yeah,
It would be
that's
hard to play both basketball
and
and
then
football.
Derek Ramsey, he ended up being, I want to say, um, the director of education with Kentucky. I forget what his
Okay,
title was, but
gotcha.
he in Kentucky. Derek stayed in Kentucky.
Okay, okay. So let's go back to your legacy.
Yeah.
What do we want tell us about the book?
Okay.
I
My
don't
book,
want to forget anything. We got so much to unpack with you. So let's go to the book. Tell us about the book.
Playing Black and
How did
Blue.
you get the book?
It means a number of things. It could be just human being. Playing Black and Blue is the human side of me. Still I rise is the being. So human being. Black and blue, of course, you know, people, whether it's a physical injury or mental, emotional, you're going to get hit, kicked, whatever. But
Mhm.
still, the being who you are, that superstar, that energy always supersedes. And that's my story. Most people think that I lived a pretty privileged, easy life. And when you read the book, it was anything but that. And
Really?
and I think that's why I'm really like, as I'm working with kids now, most of us are trying to heal like our inner child, like things that
Oh,
have happened
yes,
when we were in the
absolutely.
third or 4th grade. People telling you, some well-meaning people. My mother didn't want me to, play sports. That really made me feel like I was inadequate with what I wanted, what I really loved doing, even though she just was looking out for me. And then, of course, you have malicious people, that really hurt kids by telling them certain things or making them feel a certain way. And
Hmm.
so we spend our whole lives, dealing with the
Try
hurt little kid. Yeah.
and trying to overcome that, or trying
Yeah.
to dispel that, or trying to live up to it, or trying
Yeah.
to prove somebody wrong. Oh my God, yes.
And most people don't know. Many athletes deal with that. Many athletes deal with being OCD or ADHD or ADD. Or I just saw this. I think his name is Tony Snell. He's an NBA guy. He had a child, like his 2-year-old child. He had him tested for autism. And so when he tested his child, they found out he had autism. And so he's like, I'm going to get tested because in some ways I kind of
I
feel like,
probably had it too. Yeah.
and
And
he
he
did.
did.
He's on the spectrum, but it doesn't mean that you're any less or any different. You just, you process things in a different way. That doesn't mean you're abnormal or whatever. And I think a lot of athletes go through that. And so what I do now, like with dealing with kids, with not kids, but energy in little bodies, younger bodies, is just to, instill in them, you're pure, positive, powerful, unlimited energy. Anything's possible. And, it makes me feel good. It makes them feel good. And we need more of that today
I
with,
think that's why I love coaching the middle school
oh, yeah.
level.
It's,
It's probably the hardest level, but I love coaching that level because I still think that you still have time to kind of mold them and to get into that psyche as far as speaking life into them at that age. Because once they get to the high school, it's just really difficult because then now they're, you know, they hitting puberty and they think they know everything at that level and
yeah.
at that age. But I think at middle school, you still have a chance to kind of to get to them. And it's been very rewarding, especially coaching. I love coaching the girls. I got frustrated coaching the girls because um, the parents got on my nerves. I'm not even gonna lie. I let the parents get on my nerves, and I wish I would have had more intestinal fortitude to to ignore the parents. But but since I've been coaching the football and coaching boys, it's just so different. Especially because I just think that like we have a lot of our little boys that they have that stigmatism that they're ADHD or that they have this title, and then we got a couple of them that were really, really good, and then they would miss games because of their behavior. And I just know in my heart of hearts that they're just not getting a fair chance in the classroom. And I just feel like that my hands are tied as far as what I can do because I just can't go cussing the teacher out. And I'm not the parent, and
Yeah.
I can't do that. I still have to maintain my level of professionalism. And then I can't go being accusatory either. So yes, that's a book. So Jen said, where can we get a copy of the book?
Oh, it's on Amazon. You can go to Amazon, Playing Black and Blue, Still I Rise. That's
Ooh,
mainly.
Jen, are you able to find the link on Amazon and put it in the chat for me if you're still on? I'd
And buy it
appreciate that.
still because it's still publications, because there's some people out there selling them, but Still Publications is the best. Buy it from Still
Oh,
Publications.
Still Publications. Where
Yeah.
is there a link to that?
Well, it's Amazon. It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
But it's the one that says Still Publications.
Yeah.
Okay, Jen, can you find the one that says Still Publications in case there's multiple ones of her book, and make sure that that's the one that people are able to get? I appreciate that. Mr. Brown says, I don't think our UK media outlets give you enough credit for your accomplishments that you fulfilled at UK. And women that played at UK women basketball was influenced by your outstanding performance at UK and grew up with Tanya Fogel and BB Crawley. And you are grew as a legend in his circle. And of course you're viewed as the legend in many circles with him. But do you feel like they're giving you enough credit? Well, I know that you don't look for the credit. I know you don't look for it.
First, I appreciate just that energy and just that recognition there. I didn't do what I did because I needed somebody to say, you're
right.
good. I think eventually, my mom always said, give me my flowers when I can appreciate them. And so
Mm,
I think now in Lexington, at UK, I think there needs to be recognition of, women who have excelled in sports, or, strong, powerful women. And so I'm hoping, and the thing is, I've been recognized. So I've been inducted into the Kentucky University of Kentucky Distinguished Alumni Hall of
and
Fame.
that's the biggest
That's,
one.
that's the huge one. There's only out. UK was established in 1865. There's 300 alumni in that. There's only a couple dozen women in it, and there's only a handful of women of color in
Right.
the alumni. I got in with Steve Bashir, former governor, with Ashley
Hmm.
Judd. That is recognition that, for me, them doing that, it was amazing, because yeah, it had to do with my
Your
records, but of
academics.
course, academics, I went on with my master's and my doctorate, but also giving back to the community. And then lately, when I was in Kentucky this last time, the College of Agriculture, that's my college. Not many athletes get into agriculture. I
Right.
wanted to be a veterinarian, and I was inducted into their Distinguished Alumni Hall of Fame. There's only 74 members, alumni in that, and there's only two people of color,
Oh, wow.
one, and yeah, one male, and then me, a female. So those are honors, and for me, I don't buy into all these socially constructed concepts, whether it's race, gender, sexuality, religion, age. Even for me, is socially constructed, because
Yes.
what does being a certain age mean?
Hmm.
But for little for little for energies in little bodies to see, somebody that looks like them, or that they can relate to, I think it's really important. And so for me, I really don't need people to say, hey, Val, you were good, you were in, or making the comparisons, because there's no
Hmm.
comparisons.
There's no
That
comparison to you.
who's the goat? There is no goat. There is no goat, because there was always somebody before you that if they didn't do what they did, I wouldn't be
And
where
then
I
the
am.
errors were just so different. Like you said, when you were there, they didn't have the 3-point line. They didn't have the shot clock. It's just so different.
So, it's just enjoy people for who they are, and celebrate people for their greatness, for being just superstars, pure, positive, powerful, unlimited energy, without any, and if we could do that as a society, that's what, if we could just be nice to each other, I mean, life would be so
That
much easier.
alone could go so far if people just be nice to each other and show respect. And I think maybe the definition of respect has gotten lost.
Yeah, and it's not from younger people, because what I see now is that, like, with the examples that are coming from grown-ups, from leaders that are supposed to be leaders, I mean, it trickles down, and it really has a negative effect on youth. And I do all the research. I mean, they said since the pandemic, 1 out of 10 high school students have thought about suicide. 1 out of 5 have
Wow.
actually planned a suicide. The
Hmm.
second cause of death for adolescents, people from 10 to 24, is suicide. The first is firearms. I mean, in the United States, it's ridiculous, isn't it, to think? And I just look at what's happening to our children, like they get it 24/7, because everybody's got a cell phone now. And so at some point, each one of us have to be responsible enough and say, okay, that's enough. We gotta put down whatever's going on out here, and we gotta be just nice to each other. Just be
Just be
kind.
nice to each other. Like that. I don't know why that's just
It's so
I,
hard for
I
people.
I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. And it really is
Yeah.
it really is tough. So there's so you if so Miss Jen did find Plain Black and Blue Still I Rise. There's the link. So those of you that are on Facebook and that are on YouTube, you should be able to go directly to that link and be able to order Valerie's book. Because I was mad that I was trying to get one before you left Lexington, because I wanted a couple of autographed copies, because I wanted to give away one while we were online. But that's okay. I'm still gonna get there. Next time you come in, I'm gonna order me one, but I still want an autographed copy.
Yeah, I've got another one that's going to probably be out in 2025. Just finishing up the manuscript now, so that's going to be another powerful one. So be on the legacy. It's about legacy.
It's about legacy. It's about legacy. So Mr. Brown said, are you a Chiefs fan?
I really don't. I don't watch sports that much. I'm not. I just. I'm in Philadelphia, so the Eagles. I gotta. You gotta go with the local team. If I say, but I'm not. You know what I love about sports, and I think what most people do. Sports is a way of expressing, like, how our true selves, the energy that who we are, what we can do when we can focus it in like a laser. Like the things you can do with your body. Like you see Simone Biles,
Oh my goodness, yes.
And then you see her in slow motion, and it's like, I always want to live like supernatural. It's like, and I think like with sports, that's why people are so fascinated with it, because you always look at them like, how are they making their bodies do these kind of things? And so
but just the level of discipline and sacrifice that it takes to be an elite, just an elite athlete. That's not even being a professional athlete, just being an elite athlete, just making it. I mean, you got to think about it. Less than 1% of high school players become college players. Less than 1%. Yeah. And so to be good enough to even make it on anybody's college roster. Mm-hmm. And then if you say, let's break it down to Power 5 or the SEC, I mean, do you have any idea how elite you have to be as an athlete to make a Kentucky roster on any sport?
But you know where it all starts, and I've been studying like meditation and mindful awareness, mindful empowerment, and I've been to India like in the last year. I go visit to do these retreats and all, but everything just starts with a thought. It starts with any word that comes out of your mouth starts, and thought is just energy, and then your actions, it all starts. So if you got negative thoughts, right, then you're not going to be able. And that's why athletes, you see them when they're focusing in, when they got their headphones in. It's not about the music. It's like
it's about staying laser focused.
And people don't get that. And now with social media and all, you got all these outside influences.
So many distractions.
You got to be. And for me, seeing some, I guess it's a way of testing how strong you are mentally, because I can't pick up and look at people writing all kind of crazy stuff, and you know what I mean. They'll put you on like these athletes now. You do something right away.
People, oh my God, people are going in on you.
So
oh my goodness. I mean, I messed up one time and was on Twitter, and somebody had made a comment about Ty being a horrible recruit. And I'm thinking, like, how is he a horrible recruit? He just led the team in tackles from safety. He just got co-freshman SEC player of the week. And then against Alabama, he leads the team in tackles. And now and then it was like, go shut up and sit down somewhere, because you have no idea what the heck you're talking about.
But then they pull you into their world with it.
But they pull me in. And you know how hard it was for me not to be like, oh, I'm going in. You getting ready to hear about, but I didn't, and
but
so
that's
the restraint for me to not say something.
Yeah. So
was hard.
I'm
not even gonna lie. I'm like this. Oh yeah, it's on and popping. Yeah. So it was tough.
But I felt like the more like the more inner peace you have, the more inner power you have. Like it's like you create. They say, um, you create your environment. Like when you change the way you look at things, the things
You
you look at.
change the way you look at things
Yeah,
changes. Yes.
it's all in your mind. And so I really work on like keeping my I believe we're energy, so I don't want to waste my energy on craziness or negativeness or anything that's going to zap me, because you got to be focused in. Like when I was at UK, I must have been so focused to do something like that. And it's funny because I tell kids now the things I did when I was a teenager, 18, 19, 20, people are recognizing me now. And I hold a record for over 40 years. I
Isn't
was
that
just
crazy? Isn't that still crazy that you come back and your records, not just one but two, and we've seen the NBA players that have come through
yeah.
Kentucky
It's
that have been absolutely fantastic, and you still have outscored them.
but you have to have that. You have to have that. You have to have that inner peace, and it shows. Like I can sense people's energy right away. Like you can try to hide it, but eventually it's gonna. And so it's like I'm just working on just keeping that, like, because I've lived more years than I'm going to live, and so I don't want to waste 1 second.
Oh yes,
You know what
with
I
with
mean?
negativity. That's what
Yeah.
I love about my husband. My husband is like that. Oh,
What?
that's the biggest. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. People think he is intense, but one of the biggest lessons
That's
that I have learned from my husband is like, it's just a moment. Don't let it ruin your day. Don't let it go hours ruining, putting you in a bad mood. Don't, it's just a moment, and just let it go and move on. And he has done a great job of helping
I
me to
think.
do that.
I think it's.
Because I used
Yeah.
to hold a grudge. I wouldn't talk to you for 2, 3 weeks. Yeah, that's how I was. But he really has helped me to be able to just change my energy. And I'm glad that you were able to see, like you said, and you're not the only person. When I met Victoria Gay, she was the same way. I said, would you be on my podcast? And she looked at me, never met me before. She says, I haven't done a podcast or anything like that in 20 years, but for you, I'll do it. And she had no idea who I was. But I'm just so glad that that energy is, I'm able to elude that energy where people can see me, that whatever it is that's coming out of me is positive and influential and motivating, and whatever it is. And I hope that I continue to definitely carry that. So who was did you have a favorite basketball player?
When I was growing up, I'm in Philadelphia, so Dr. J was my man.
Dr. J.
When I was a little kid, I dreamt about playing with the 76ers, and now when I was with the WNBA, I coached in Orlando, and Dr. J was the president. So I got to work with him when he was, Michael
How
Jordan
cool
was
is
the president when I was with the Mystics.
it? Mm-hmm.
And then just this past year, I was inducted into the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. So it's like it comes, like my life is so weird because I said I'm the Forrest Gump of women's basketball. Like you find me in all kind of crazy spots,
All kinds of spots in women's
and then
basketball. How
weird,
about that?
like with me, I went back to school. I got my master's in African and African American studies. My doctorate was in sports humanity. It's like I just kind of go wherever the universe tells me to go, and I love just like being a free spirit like that, because a lot of people are so. Somebody's talking about Tennessee now. I just saw that.
He said Tennessee had Pat Summitt, South Carolina has Don Staley,
Oh,
and UK has
man.
Valerie Still. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm taking in
That's
all
so
this.
sweet. That's so sweet.
That's pretty large right there. Those are some big names right there. And we do have big shoes that I feel responsibility because of all those. And I always recognize the women that came before me, whether
Hmm.
like Vivian Stringer or Marion
Oh,
Washington,
absolutely. Yes.
or uh, Pat Roberts, or all these, or Pat Head Summit, because we didn't get to where we are now if those
If
women weren't just. And can you imagine the hell they were
I
going
can't
through?
imagine the hell that they went through back then.
Just,
I
I
can't
mean,
imagine the hell that they went through back then with being a female coach. Because
yeah,
even now, I'm not gonna lie, I still have a problem that more female sports is being headed by male coaches.
yeah. Well, you coach. I know I coached my son in basketball, and when he was little, and that was crazy. You know, people are like, and I know with you coaching football, I
Ooh,
keep.
I get it bad. Ooh, it's bad. It's bad. Coaching football. It's bad. It's bad because of who my husband is. And so everybody is like, every year he gets probably 10 or 15 calls where they want to be on his staff. And he's like, no, I'm good. I got my wife. And they're like, what? And so they don't know that that I have more championships than he does
That's
as a
crazy.
coach, as a coach. And so, that's why he put me on his staff was because I can coach in multiple sports. So I have 2 state championships in track. I have a girls basketball championship, and so now I'm ready to get a championship in football. So football will be my 3rd sport where I will have a championship at the same school. I think I'm the winningest female coach at all time at Crawford Middle School. So I can coach. And so he tells them that. He's like, my wife can coach.
Do you think
He
we'll
says
ever
she watches more football. I watch more sports than he does.
do you think we'll see a female football coach in either college or is there one already or in the pros?
So there are 7 women. No, I think there's 11 women coaches in the pros in the NFL.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Where have
Okay.
I been?
So Jennifer King is a African American female. Okay. So when Riviera got fired from Washington, she was the running backs coach, and now she's in Chicago. Her name is Jennifer King, African American female. And then Coach Lori Locust was at Tampa Bay, and then this past season she was with the Titans, but the Titans got a new coaching staff, so I haven't seen where she's gotten either renewed or whether or not she's got a job someplace else. And then there's a female with the Jets. Her name is Colette Young or something like that or whatever. I might be messing her name up. I think she might be still with them, and she's an African American female. And then who else? There's a couple of other ones, and I can't. But they're like in conditioning, but they're actual coaches. They're actual assistant coaches. Yeah. The other girls are like strength and conditioning coaches, or they're something like that, or they're in the front office, or they're something like that. But yeah, there are. And then there was a couple that were in the NBA. I know Kara Lawson, who's at Duke now, was with the NBA, and then of course the Aces coach Becky Hammond was with the Spurs, and
Jenny Indiana with
Indiana, yeah, she came, yeah. So there's been a couple, but I will be honest. Bernadette, I think, was the first and the last on a men's team.
Oh, really? Yeah, that
might. I think she was the first. And so she and I had a conversation, and I was like, "How did nobody come after her?"
But Tennessee State, it seemed like the athletic director filled in for a little bit. I don't know.
Maybe for a little bit, for a short period of time.
I don't know. That's kind of strange, but isn't it? It would seem like more.
But when she coached at the University of Kentucky, you would have thought that there would have been more to come behind her. Yeah.
With Rick
but there wasn't. So I don't know if we're just not applying. Maybe we're not applying, or just not getting the opportunity to coach on a men's team.
I don't know. I'm not.
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. Yeah, I have no idea. So I had a friend that was like, Terry, so you want to coach? I said, no, I do not want to coach college. I do not want to coach in the NFL. I do not. I love coaching my women's team. I want to become a head coach of an all women's tackle football team. I want to play in a football game where I have an all female officiating staff. I want an all female coaching staff, and I don't care who we play. That's that's my goal with football, because football is not a female. There are no females, so you have to go back and so I've had about 3 female coaches that I've had on my podcast, and one of them was probably the first. She was probably the first to be a head coach in the college as a football coach. She was coaching at a junior college, but right now she's the only D2 coach that's holding a position, like a coordinator position. The only one, 126 schools or 162 schools, however many that's in a D2. She's the only female that's holding, and she might be one of the only female coaches that are coaching, but I know she's the only one holding a coordinator position.
I wonder if it's because the women don't want to coach with the guys, or if it's the opposite.
The guys don't want the women coaching with. I don't think the guys want the women. Let me tell you, I think it was 2000, right before the pandemic. I went to my first football clinic. I was the only female there.
So maybe, was it open to women though?
I think so. But I just think that there wasn't just a lot of women. And it might have just been the location that I went to, because it was in Louisville. But guess who was there? Coach Stutes was there. Coach Ed Egeron was there, who had just came off of his national championship with LSU. Coach Braun was there. He was coaching at Purdue. Coach Sark is at Texas now. So whoever the coach was at Texas, he was there. Wow. And then EKU's coach was there. And there was another. Tennessee's coach was there. And so Tennessee, and I love telling the story because I was the only female there. So there were some guys that they were cool with me there. Coach Egeron met me coming off the stage, was like, I am so glad that you were here. Thank you for coming and attending. And then Coach Pruitt, who was Tennessee's coach, I was sitting there waiting for the thing to start. I got there early, so I wanted to get a good seat. And he comes up to me. He's like, "What you doing here?" I said, "It's a football clinic. What is everybody?" I was being smart about it. And he said, "Well, tell me your story." So I told him a story, how my husband helped me to get it. I said, "Well, what you need to do is you need to look at my son." And I picked up my phone and I showed him a couple videos of Ty. And he came back to me about 20 minutes later and offered Ty. That's how my son got his offer to the Tennessee. But if I wasn't a female, I don't think any other coach got an offer for any of their players while they were there. So that was to my advantage. But then there was a breakout session, and I had left and went to a breakout session. And when I came back, some of the guys had saved my seat for me. And I thought that was just so sweet. But there were guys there that were very like, what's she doing here?
Yeah, but I
felt those vibes too.
You know what that reminds me of, though? A few years ago, 10 years ago, we did this reality TV show, Mom's Got Game, with Pam McGee and Javelle, her son.
Mm-hmm.
I had my son. I was, trying to get him prepared for the NBA. Gary Payton's wife had little Gary. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of funny because when you're saying, like, those moms are really the ones that are finagling. Like, Pam is,
Pam was a baller.
But she knows what it takes too
knew what it takes to get her son to the next level. So did you.
It would seem like that would factor over into them, the moms becoming coaches. But I guess that that's just a whole different level.
But I don't know if I would like to ask if they ever wanted to be a coach. That's why I asked you. I was like, okay, how did you not? But you said that you thought that was it, and it just didn't happen for you. But you did coach your son at one time.
Yeah, but I'd never. But see, my son was different. He didn't want to hear anything I had to. It was like, and I think sons and moms are like, it's a. I don't know if you've had the same experience, but he just didn't want to like. And I was like this strong woman, and he was surrounded with all these strong women because I was playing in the WNBA, the ABL. So
Right.
he's in the locker room with all these strong women,
Mhm.
but he just didn't. Like he wanted it to come from a guy, I guess. I don't know. Did you find that?
I think so. Ty is my stepson. So I think I have a different relationship with him because Ty has seen. I don't come across as mom. I'm Miss Terry, and I
Yeah,
think that's the kind of difference. So when we have conversations, sometimes he's open to it, but you can tell when if there's a game on, he'll call me and we'll just chalk it up about a game, especially about women's basketball or
yeah,
women's sports or with my team or something like that. We can have those sports conversations, but our conversations as far as like me giving him any advice or anything has mostly just been the mental part of the game and letting him know that his identity. I thought that was important what you said, him learning at an early age that his identity is not in his ability on what he does on the field and on the court, and that our love for him wasn't contingent on what he did, and that if he was to quit at any time, it didn't matter, that we still loved him regardless. And to me, from a mom's point of view, that was important for me, for him, to get that, because I saw that there were a lots of kids, and I probably went through that too, where once I couldn't play anymore, it was like, well, what's life about now? Because
yeah,
sports saved my life, and so it has always been an intricate part for me. And so not being able to participate, and but I was glad that I was able to still get into the coaching and still stay around it. I just wish that I could have harnessed some type of an occupation where I could have just stayed around sports my whole life, as opposed to wasting time on jobs that was just to get a paycheck.
yeah. Well, none of us want to do that, and that's what I tell young people today. Find something that makes your heart sing, like that you would do it 24/7.
Or
And I
you would
know
do
this
it for
sounds
free.
irresponsible, yeah, because what's going to happen is you're going to do it so much, you're going to get so good at it, then the money, all that other kind of stuff
It'll
catches
just
up and
come.
swallows you up. But most people nowadays, especially grown-ups, they're so practical. Like, they have a 1-year plan, 5-year plan. Nah, the basis of it has to be like that passion, like you're going to do it no matter what. Like my mom would literally, I'd get beat because I'd be out on the court when I
Court.
wasn't supposed to be out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was something that I couldn't, I just had to
Just
do
I
it.
just had to play.
And it can't be the parents trying to get scholarships or, trying to get, that ain't gonna work. You spending all this
Because if,
money and
if
AU
the
and all
kids
that.
don't, because if the kids don't want it, you can't
No,
you
no,
can't want it for them. It has to come. I mean, you can just see it. We just have so many, and I get it, because sports teaches so many life lessons that you take into your adult life. Like how to be a team player. Like I've been on so many jobs where I've had supervisors that I can tell didn't play sports because they had no clue about being a team player. And so sports teaches so many life lessons. So I get that part. But the ones that are just really trying to force their kids to just be something that they're not is
yeah,
just,
and it's
I just
hard.
say it because you just know the kids are gonna have to go get therapy when they get older to get over that childhood. It creates childhood trauma because you're
Yeah,
like, That's not what I want to do," or to me it would be very difficult. Did you think that the pushback from your son was the fact that it was hard to walk behind your shoes
I think
as
part of it
as
came.
as a legend
I think
and
part
living
of it
up to
came
that
from that.
legend status?
But you know what happened though? Um, and it was because I wanted it more, but he ended up being recruited by the Naval Academy. You know, he went a year for their prep school, then he went into the Naval Academy, and then he played a year, and that was it. But now he's doing what he loves doing. He's a lieutenant on, the USS Winston Churchill. He's a fire control officer. He used to love
Mhm.
video games, so where he was, now he's in a simulator controlling what missiles go off or whatever. And so in the end, it always comes like that was his passion. Like I had to, whatever I wanted for him was more for me than it was
Mhm.
for him. But I love him regardless. He didn't have to do anything for me to love him. No, I
Right,
mean
and
that.
that I think that's the most important thing that kids have to understand is that it doesn't matter what we're going to love you regardless of
Yeah,
what you do. I don't care how
yeah,
many home runs or touchdowns or whatever it is that you do. That doesn't stop us from loving you as
yeah,
our child. And if you decide to do something that is totally against what we think you should do, okay,
yeah.
okay,
And being a parent is, that's probably one of the most difficult things you're going to do because you're learning. Like would I do things differently? I sure would. Was it all based out of love? Yes. But as you learn in life, then you understand. And I think it's just the evolution that you have to go with. And so parenting is not easy. And especially, I think sports nowadays, youth athletics, it's gotten so out of hand that, even well meaning parents end up doing crazy
doing
things that,
crazy things, yeah.
so I really put a lot
So
of.
where do you think that we should where do you think we should go? Where are parents missing the boat in this day and age, do you think? Where we need to kind of reel things in, or we need to look at things from a different perspective so that we could better serve the youth that are coming up now.
I think if each one of us just remembers that, really life is about you. Like our kids are not ours. Like most of us, this is my son, and whatever happens to him, if it happens good, then I take all the credit. If it's bad, it's whoever. But if we could just not be like think like they're our possession, like they come here, they're like a little gift, but then nurture them, like they say after 5 years, they're really on their own. You protect them and you nurture
Mhm.
them for those years, but after that, they're their only. They came here with a mission for them. We just have to be willing to say, and I was the worst about, that's my son. That's I know it's not easy because you can love them to death, and you don't want to do that.
Literally, yes, and you don't want to.
You don't want to love them to death. You want them to love them to life. Just let them be like, just be there supporting. So anyway,
That's good stuff.
we didn't got to the mom stuff.
And I love it. I love it because again, what I love most about you when I was looking at your bio is just that yes, you're this absolute super legend that we absolutely love and adore, but you're so much more. I love talking about you, you being a mom. I love talking about you being an author. I love talking about your philanthropic work with your foundation and with the other foundation that you've got going on, and I'm just in awe in everything that you're doing. What do you want to leave with the people? I know we're over time, but hey, this has been good
Well,
stuff. What do you want to
just
leave with the people?
if I could leave anything, it would be just remember who you are. Like you're a superstar, pure, positive, powerful, unlimited energy. No matter what your age is, as we get older as women, people want to put us in a certain. Never, always have fun. You're just energy. Just go with it. Energy. You can't be destroyed. You can't be created. So just enjoy life this moment because that's all we have. So if we could all just, live that way, life would be a lot easier.
Absolutely. That's good stuff. Well, I'm gonna close everything. Oh, Jen said that Dr. J was her idol and her first love.
Yeah, I bet mine too.
um oh that yeah, we talked about that. I want to make sure I address everybody. Angel Reese and other females that express the glamorous and femininity are dragged by the media haters. Or what are your thoughts on that?
You know what?
Any thoughts?
It's kind of funny because when you're that age, we had certain things that we were into. Like I couldn't see where playing in a wig. I just or the new
Or
Jennifer.
or the
I'm like,
Ain't no
hey,
freaking way. Ain't no freaking. I said, how they can,
but
or with nails on.
no, I can't. I never. But we were that age at some time, and we did certain things, and so if that's what makes them happy, if they're good with it and they're not hurting anybody, and they feel good about themselves and they feel beautiful and strong and empowered, knock yourself out. But if it becomes superficial, like you're doing it for the attention or you're doing it, then eventually you're going to be replaced with the next whoever it is. Like you got 15 minutes of glory and then you're going to
Yeah,
be replaced. And that's how sports are really now. I mean, it's the shelf life of an athlete. It's a lot
it's
shorter than,
short.
remember, we used to have our idols a whole lifetime. Now, every so often, they just get replaced. So if they're, let them enjoy themselves. It's not hurting anybody.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny. He started laughing. He said, "Playing in a wig." Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, there's
I
no way.
like when this was my thing. How about when the one girl's wig came off or something, and
When her
everybody was
wig
so
fell off
happy.
and
They said that
everybody
was
went
so
around her, I thought that was on both teams. Now I did thought that was absolutely a great bonding moment and a good sisterly whatever they want to call it. Hey, I take it and I love it because even Don was like, "What happened?" She was like, "What?"
I know, really.
She was like, "Oh,
I don't
okay,
get it.
okay."
I don't
I
get
don't I
that,
don't
but
get it. Again, that's the part right there. I'm not getting ready to wear no wig because I don't want it absolutely falling off in the front of everybody, and or a lash. I lose a eyelash or something. I don't know. I don't do the
I don't
lashes
know
like
how they
that
do it.
because
I
I
don't know
can't
how they do
see.
it.
I don't know how they do it. They irritate me, and you know, at the gala, I'll go put them on, and I guarantee the next day I'm pulling them things off. They look good at that particular time when I take some pictures, but I'm not getting ready to be playing no ball in no lashes. There's no way.
You
I
gotta
don't know how
go
they do
on.
it.
If you can do that, you got it going on.
You bad when you can wear the big old
Go do your
and
thing.
all that hair. I
I don't know.
I love it. I love it. Hey, I love it. Listen, thank you so much for gracing us with all this legacy and positivity. And I appreciate you so much for saying yes to coming on and talking to us on this glorious night. Happy Women's History Month. That's exactly why I brought you on, was because you are women's history and you're still creating history for us. And we appreciate that. We can't wait. Let me go back up here and put this book on here again. Guys, before we go off, hold on. I'm going to find it. Here it is right here.
Hey, I can take some hits, but I don't wear heels anymore. Not them big
Not
old.
them-
I don't do. I'm in the comfort now. So hits and heels, and you knock yourself out, man. It's like,
Hey, it's just I can do the heels every once in a while. Like I said, I created the hits and heels because of the football with the
I know
hits
that's cool
and
though.
the heels because I'm a female, and that's all it is. It was the great. My co-host came up with just a great line, but yeah, it's just hits and heels. I'll put them on every once in a while, but yeah, when you see me on the 20, if it's a long, I'll do a long gown on purpose just so I can put on some flip flops and take off them heels.
Yeah, I have my Crocs on. I think like for all my Hall of Fames, I wear the same outfit because I'm a minimalist now. So
Okay.
it's like I don't even want to spend any time thinking about what I gotta
What I have
wear.
to
I just want to be
wear.
comfortable, so it's
Oh,
kind
I
of nice.
really like them white jackets y'all had for the
Yeah,
50th was cold blooded. Whoever designed those
lady
were
cat,
nice.
lady cat.
They were nice. They were nice. But anyway, so everybody, so right here I have on the ticker is her book. It's called Plain Black and Blue. It's on Amazon. Um and Still I Rise. But there's the link right there. You guys should be able to go and read her book. She's got another book coming out in 2025, you said?
Yep, 25.
I tell you what, we'll make sure we have you back on so that we can promote it.
Yep.
So that gives me an excuse to have you back on.
Go big blue, go big
So
blue,
we,
and
yeah,
always go big blue.
so we
And
can promote
return to
it.
the lady
Um,
cats.
so
Return to
anyway,
the
so
lady cats. We got to
absolutely, they'll be back. So hey, so who you got? Do you think South Carolina's gonna win it all?
I want South Carolina to win it all. Dawn's my girl, man. She's not just producing, athletes. She's producing like
Some
strong,
great young women.
yeah, just people, just in general,
Yes.
confident. That's what, and they were willing to take a stand. It's she's the total package. If we could steal her, man, that would. Can we get her at UK? Dawn, please, please.
I think a lot of people had. I think that came up with her, and I think somebody said that her contract is on I think like $5 million a year, because she had to go sue them to get her contract to be comparable to the men's conference. And so at UK we're not, our women's coaches not getting paid ain't getting paid what Calipari getting. So unless they're gonna give her Calipari money, I doubt she'd come.
Darn, can you imagine? We've been sitting on the front seat winning championships, just sitting back enjoying. That's what I want to do.
But they're getting ready to put up a whole statue. I think she's established herself at South Carolina, and I don't know what it would take to get her to leave South Carolina to come to Kentucky. I don't know what they would really have to put on the table.
Went out, I think.
Yeah. Did I? There we are. I don't know what it would take to get. Yeah, I don't know what it would take to get Dawn to leave South Carolina. Of course, I would love to get her to Kentucky. I don't know if I don't know if we can bring out enough resources for her to go, because of course with she'd bring everybody with her.
Yeah, she would.
Oh, including her players. So because I think that they would follow her. Because it's not they're playing for her. Yeah. They're playing for her. They play for her. Because again, she's got kids on the bench that can go start at other schools, but yet they'll go there and sit on the bench for her.
Yeah.
So so that's a testament for her. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I was looking at so Iowa is the number 2 seed out of Iowa, and then on the bottom of that is UCLA, and then LSU and Louisville are all in that same side of the bracket.
Where's USC though? USC's got to be up there somewhere, right?
Oh, where's USC at? Hold on, I think USC is on.
Didn't they win the championship out there in the Pac? I don't even have a TV, but I think I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, but I don't see them on here. Hold on. Where is USC?
Maybe they didn't win it. I thought
so. It's on the other side is like Notre Dame, Oregon State, Nebraska, Indiana. Indiana has one of Kentucky's former coaches that played at Kentucky. She's at Indiana on the bench. Where is USC? I don't even see USC.
They were with the top freshmen this year. Oh well.
Oh, I mean, I'm looking at the bracket, and I do not see where USC is on here.
I could have sworn
I thought they won. Okay, because I thought they. You know who else I don't see on here?
You got 2023 probably bracket.
I'm like, is this the wrong bracket?
You
This has
got the
got to be
wrong.
the wrong bracket. Maybe this is the wrong. Maybe I got the wrong bracket. It's got to be the wrong bracket because I could have sworn I just picked up. It says 2024 bracket. So South Carolina, North Carolina. You know who else I don't see on here? It's Stanford because USD had beat Stanford
For the
in
championship.
for the Pac-12 championship, and I don't see them on there. So hold on, see full women's bracket. Let me refresh it. Maybe I got it all checked up. Yeah, because I don't see. I know Stanford should be on there. So, and I don't. Oh, there it is. Okay. So Southern Cal is on the other bracket. So literally, so Southern Cal, Michigan, Vandy, Baylor, UConn, Duke are all in that bracket, and then Stanford is with like Maryland, Tennessee, Alabama, Texas is in that other lower bracket, but they put UCLA, LSU, and Iowa in the same bracket.
Oh, really?
So we're not going to be able to see them in the Final Four.
UCLA.
So Iowa, yes. So Iowa, Louisville,
Oh no,
UCLA, and LSU are all in the same. Are in the same like
that's major drama
are
right
in the
there.
same region. That's drama.
That's
Like they didn't spread them out enough for us. Like I don't know why you wouldn't spread them out so
Forget about the
that South
competition.
Carolina, Iowa, LSU, and USC could be in the Final Four.
There you have it. We're talking about it. That's what's important.
So it'll be interesting because so that means it'll be interesting to see who wins out of UCLA, LSU, and Iowa. So LSU and Iowa is going to have or probably a meet in the sweet. It's either Sweet 16.
Do the hand thing, right?
Oh, my bad.
No, you know how. What was it?
Yeah.
Oh no! It's this.
So we could possibly see LSU versus Iowa.
I think
they might meet in the Sweet 16.
I'd like to see that rematch. Yeah, that's gonna be good.
So that might be a rematch in the Sweet 16, but I hate that we won't see it. Won't be like a Final Four type of thing where we'll see all of them in the Final Four.
Listen, we just got to get the Lady Cats. It's the return of the lady. We got to get the UK Lady Cats back in there.
We gotta get them. We gotta get them back. We gotta get them back. I'm not gonna lie. Matthew Mitchell wants to come back. I was hoping that I wouldn't mind if Matthew Mitchell comes back and he brings Kyra and her staff back.
Oh Lord!
Because that's who was winning.
Einstein said,
they were helping him win.
Insanity. Doing the same thing you've always done and expecting a different result. No, you can't go back. You can't go back. You can't.
He was doing something right though when they were.
Well, no, they never got past the Elite Eight. We
did the Elite Eight. We never passed the Elite Eight
back in the 80s. We did that already. We got to move forward. Like,
so how do we get past? Okay, so who are we gonna get in here to get past the Elite Eight?
I don't know, but that I know
who's out there that's available besides Don Staley.
There's somebody. There's an up and coming. There's always an up and coming. You gotta let the universe, all the energy come together, and it's gonna. And it might be somebody that's closer than we think, like in a D3 or something like that, that's undefeated, that hasn't been tested, but just needs to put together a nice little, support.
So you think?
I don't know.
Think the coach at Transylvania, who just won 63 games in a row, that won the D3 championship last year, could be a possibility. Do you think she can jump to that level this early though? Because at the D3 level, they don't have any scholarships.
Exactly, no, and it's altogether different. I was at their practice when I was in Lexington. It's altogether different. But if they put together the right staff, and she's got a good program because she's got a good system from what I hear, then it can work. I mean,
it could work.
Winning that many, going undefeated wherever.
That's huge. That's huge. You definitely have to give her props.
So I don't know. Give her a chance. Maybe I don't know if she even wants to. She may not even want to.
She might not even want it.
You can put together a staff that's no harm in trying. I don't know. I'm glad I'm not. I don't make that decision.
I'm glad I don't make this decision.
I just want to come. I just want to see. I want to come back and be, every year come back and be like, yeah, that's my lady cat. I'm killing it. I mean, coming
well,
in.
I definitely enjoy. I can't wait to see what the new did you get a chance to go take a peek? What's it looking like? How's it coming along?
It was still like torn apart, but it's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be nice. I can't wait. Okay, so I can't wait. Well, I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah, I can
be here all night with you
tomorrow, so I'm getting ready to share that energy. But it's always good, coming back, and of course when it's, my old Kentucky home, I had to say yeah, and I love, the female empowerment hits and hills. We got to support each other.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, when you come in Lexington, please give me a call. Let's do coffee or something and chop it up. And it's always definitely a pleasure. Always, but every time you come in, make sure you bring me a book.
I'm gonna okay. I will. I'm gonna come to a football game. You get good seats.
Yes.
UK football.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean good seats. I don't want
right behind. Yeah, our season tickets are right behind the bench.
Oh, really? See, my brother, he used to sell his tickets. He probably wasn't supposed to, and then he would get tickets up in the nosebleed. Man, it was really.
No, we have our own season tickets, and we don't sit with the rest of the families and stuff. But we have.
Because we get down on the field. If I come in, we're gonna be down.
Well, you're a celebrity, so you get access to the field. So.
Hey, hold on. Last question. What about the football program?
I'm excited about the football program. I felt like last year should have been a 10-2. They were right. I felt like they were just right there. I felt like the only legitimate losses was the Georgia and the Alabama game. But even at those games, I was at those games. And at the Georgia game, we had some bad calls early on, and we lost the momentum so early. And if you didn't, that could have been a different game. Alabama game, we were in the red zone maybe, I think 3 times and didn't score. That could have been a totally different ball game. That made you look like you're competing as opposed to getting blown out. So those games, they still could have just went either way. Just when like you said, when the universe just comes and everything comes and plays or the right calls, I'm at the point now where I feel like sometimes sports is a little influenced by Las Vegas because of the sports betting. Yeah. And so, sometimes you won't get the calls. Because it depends on how much money Vegas is gonna make or not, and I think that the refs are kind of influenced by some of the calls, especially in the NFL. And so I don't want to believe that that's the case in college, that it's legit, but it is funny how sometimes that there will be some phantom calls or holding calls or just calls that, because my husband's a white hat, so I know the rules and and how he referees, and if it's a call that doesn't impact the play, why are you calling it? And so sometimes that could be impactful of the game. So, but I love that my son chose Kentucky. I'm glad that we're home. I'm glad that we get to continue to bleed blue and not somebody else. And
get better than that.
And he's a legacy recruit, and we love everything about Kentucky football. We love being at the games. The atmosphere is absolutely amazing. I hope that they could just turn it around this year so that she said your celebrity Valerie will get you a luxury seat. And again, I just hope that we can just finally get over that hump where we can, we can be, I think we was it last year, the year before, we hit top 10. Kentucky football hit top 10. And it just would be, and now that they have changed, so this year the playoff
Oh yeah, they changed up
it's changed, right? And so now that we have Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC, it's a little bit different. I don't think there's going to be an East and the West anymore. I think it's just, whoever just comes out of the SEC, you just get the opportunity to go to the next level. And so I like that opportunity of where college football is going. But I do love where I love everything that the coaching staff at Kentucky is trying to do. And you could see the talent that's there. We see it firsthand, even with our son being there, and we're just excited about it. I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't wait to football season start. It cannot get here. August 31st cannot get here fast enough. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But if you're ever in town, let us know. We'll definitely.
Yeah, I got presentations in high school tomorrow, so I got to be on my A game.
Okay, well, let's let you go. Guys, thank y'all for coming on Hits and Heels. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry I went so long, but it was hard not to talk to the legend herself, Valarie Still. Thank you for blessing us with your presence. Guys, we'll see you on Wednesday night when Kenny Skywalker will come on and we'll talk about.
He owes me money.
He owes you some money? I'll tell him. Or come on, so you come on so that you could and make sure that you tell him, hey, don't forget that you owe me some money. So yeah. So we'll have Kenny Skywalker on Wednesday on our regular night for Hits and Heels, 9:00. And guys, love y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in, and y'all have a good night. I'm gonna end the stream, but you don't have to log off.